Hi there, this is Life Prepper here, and this is my scenario about a winter month. Since we're in winter, this here is appropriate for me to have my hood up and be talking about it. But here's what it is. You're in this group about 30, 35, maybe 40 something people, and y'all work together as a community, and you've created this area because it was very remote and isolated, only one way in and one way out. So y'all work together, but you didn't allow for the fact is that you may need extra food just in case. You do have enough sense, though, not to put all the food in one location. And you did have enough sense not to tell everybody in the group where the other sources of food is at for protection wise. So what happened is that there's this group that shows up in the middle of the night. And one of them was a member of y'all's group that you kicked out for whatever reason. He might have been stealing. He might have been causing a lot of problems. Whatever reason is, he had to leave. He was forced to leave. You could not have him in this group. So it goes back and forth for days. They're in there fighting. They're shooting people. They're doing this and this and this and this. And finally you say, finally they're able to get in. But they wouldn't have been able to get in if this guy hadn't told them of all the little secret places that y'all had created as a precautionary measure to escape or whatever. So they go in and they say, you got a choice. We can kill all of y'all, or you can just let us have what food we want. We'll eat. And then we'll be back next year to get more food. And as long as you keep giving us food, we're going to be fine with it. Just how it's going to be. You're going to take care of us. So y'all like, well, we're in a no-win situation. It's already starting to snow and winter time's around the corner and y'all can feel it. So you give them the food. The problem is they don't just take some of it. They take just about all of it. They're just going to take whatever. You're sitting there and you're all shouting, leave us something to survive on. They said, we don't care. We're taking this. And, y'all like it or else, or we'll just kill y'all and you just deal with it. So they go. They're gone. And what happens here is, in this area, you get snowed in. And it happens during the winter months. You get totally isolated from the outside. And you will not be able to bring in any food until the following spring. You won't be able to raise any crops. And the animals will go to a different area. So trying to find food to survive on is practically zero. So, you either do all your surviving and prepping during the summer months, the spring, summer, and fall, or you're just screwed. So here's the scenario. You did have food hidden in some other places that this guy didn't know about. So you was lucky there. But it wasn't enough. It's not enough to get all these people through because, bottom line, some of them just don't ration food out. You're sitting there trying to ration food out, and you got those in there. When they get hungry, they get greedy. So, they're sitting there, and they're stealing food. You're doing an inventory. You're keeping up with it, but then you find, 5 bags of beans gone. You're finding this gone. You're finding that gone because they're stealing the food. They're just flat out stealing it. And then one day you get up, and part of the members are gone. And you go in there, and they had taken a bunch more food. They just left. They left y'all. They weren't going to be stuck there during the winter months, bottom line, so they took part of a big chunk of the food. So you went from about 40 people to about 30 people, give or take, maybe. So here y'all are. Well, before you could even think about, going looking for them was a waste of time because winter is on set. And then, so the next morning it snows. Y'all snowed in. Food has run out because of one, the marauders come in and took whatever they wanted, and then they told you better have food for them every year, or they will come in and kill you. They will come in and take what they want. Then you had those that turncoat just ran. They decided they didn't want to follow the rules because they wanted food to eat, and you was rationing the food out, trying to make it last. And they was not happy about eating a one portion meal when they wanted to eat this. So they took what they wanted and they left. So now you've ran out of all the food. You've done hunted whatever game you could find. There's no game left. Y'all ate up whatever chickens you had. You ate up You killed your horses, you ate them, there's nothing left. Just like the Dahmer party and other parties you have heard about across the world due to bad situations. So here's what your choice is. You know springtime is a couple 2 or 3 months away, but you at most just say. But let's say you manage to get it through most of the winter. But you know you got another month, maybe a month and a half of winter, severe winter, before spring gets here and y'all can get out there and start looking for food. Would you volunteer to have one of your legs removed to feed the people? Would you do that? Would you volunteer to have an arm removed to feed the people? Would you do that? Because what's going to happen is that they're going to starve to death, and then when that one person dies, they're going to eat that person. So, but would you do this instead? Would you be willing to sacrifice a leg or an arm to feed the people, to keep them surviving for that next month and a half? Would you be willing to do that? Or would you rather wait till someone dies and eat that person? Or wait for someone to bash you in the head at night and make you the next meal? Would you be willing to keep them going for a little while longer, lose one of your legs or lose one of your arms to feed them? Would you be willing to do that? You know, that's a loaded question. It is. Would I be willing to have my leg cut off to feed these people until springtime? Would anybody else be willing to do it? I think it'd be a better scenario than just watching someone die and then they get crazy, start murdering one another. You know, it would feed them. It would survive them. You know, they would probably be able to manage making the got snow everywhere, so they can melt the snow. They can take your leg, soak it, cook it up, make a broth out of it. And you imagine you could probably scrounge around, find some pine needles or something, you know, to survive on, to help sustain yourself. So would you be willing to do that? I believe I would. I believe if it came down to it, and it was at the point of starvation, and I know there's no other way but to do this, so I'd rather go ahead and give them one of my legs than to have them wait for someone to die. And I think the hardest thing for me to see would be to see a child die from starvation. So if I could sit there and sacrifice a leg to feed these people a little bit longer, to keep them going, to keep them surviving, hoping that maybe spring get there a little, or maybe the snow will clear out enough where they can get out to get to food, I think I would do it. I think I would do it if it means I can give my people a fighting chance to survive. And I think in most cases, other people would end up volunteering as well. They would rather lose a leg or an arm to keep the group going. So, you know, that's what I'm asking you. Would you volunteer? Would you give one of your legs to feed the people that were starving? Your group of people. It's interesting questions. So, you know, tell me what you would do. Would you just sit there and wait for someone to die and eat them? Or would you bash someone else in the head and eat them? Or wait for them to bash you in the head? What would you do? Maybe I'd get lucky and find one of those marauders or one of those turncoats out there frozen in the snow, and I could have frozen dinner, as you could put it. So tell me, what would you do? Would you volunteer? Or would you rather just wait and watch someone die? Maybe a child. It might be your child. You know, it might be your wife. It might be your parents that you're going to watch die. And you know, when people get crazy, they get crazy. Something to think about. So let me know. This is Life Prepper of the World of Joe, and I want you to be safe, be happy. Bless you all.